elected and can do its job. Senator Kennedy?
Thank you, Madam Chair. General, welcome. Help me. I tried to listen carefully to my colleagues, but I'm still a little bit confused. You've been IG since 2011, and you do a lot of internal investigations. In other words, did some particular employee at the Fed not do their job? Is that correct?
Yes.
About how many of those you think you've done?
Well, in terms of investigations of potential misconduct or wrongdoing, we have typically had a running average of about 60 or 70 of those. Obviously, the pandemic...
Is that total? 60 or 70 a year?
No, at any point in time.
Okay.
Many of them are closed. New ones come in through our hotline, which we open up, but that's typically a rough gauge for how many investigations we have pending.
Since you've been there in 2011, again, I'm talking internal investigations, would 500 sound right?
I'd have to look into it. I don't want to give you a number.
No, I'm not going to hold you to it. Wasn't many. Is it more? You think it's more than 500?
I would like to look into it and get you an exact number.
Okay. In what percentage of the cases, just ballpark, do you find wrongdoing?
Again, it would be a wild guess, and I'm not comfortable giving one to you, but we can certainly look into that and develop those numbers for you.
Frankly, I would have thought would have that before you came today. We think it's more than half?
No, I would not think so.
More than a quarter?
That's where I'm uncomfortable.
Well, is it happen frequently that you find wrongdoing, or infrequently?
It's not infrequent.
It's not infrequent? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And when you find wrongdoing, are the people who committed the wrongdoing, according to your report, fired?
Sometimes.
Okay. What percentage are fired?
Again, sir, I would like to get you a specific number if that's what you'd like.
Yeah, I think if you could get us that number, and perhaps we could do this again. Because I think people have the right to know that. I don't want to pick on the Federal Reserve. I just want to treat them like everybody else. And my sense is, and I think your numbers can prove or disprove this, but my sense is that it is easier to divorce your spouse than get fired at the Federal Reserve. And if that's the case, we're entitled to know that. It's a lot of money over there. And that's not a criticism of anybody. And tell me again about your salary. It's the average of what?
It's the average of both the salary and the bonus that is attributed to the other individuals who are similarly situated in terms of the organizational structure, which for me is the division director level. So there are 12 other individuals, and it's the average of their salary plus bonus.
Okay. So there are about 13 of you, and your salary is set on the average of the 13.
That is the case for all DFE-IGs. That's in the IG Act as the formula to be used.
I'm just asking. Are the others set that way too?
The other
the 12 other ones whose salaries are used to get your salary?
I'm not aware of how those are set, are established.
Okay. And do you get a bonus?
No, I do not.
Okay. Do the others get a bonus?
Yes, that's part of that average that I mentioned.
Okay. Do all 12 of the others get a bonus?
I don't know the answer to that.
Do they get a bonus when they say inflation is transitory and it's not? Do they still get their bonus?
I don't have the answer to that.
Okay. How do we get that information?
requested from the Federal Reserve folks.
How about we call the IG? Can you get it for us?
IG should not be in the position of getting information to turn over if we're not otherwise engaged in an audit or evaluation or investigation.
I know you're in the, if I could have 30 more seconds. I know you're in the process of looking at the bank failures, and I don't want you to, I'm not trying to put you on the spot because you don't know yet, but you know, I found two things ironic. Maybe irony is the wrong wrong word to use, but as a result of these
The U.S. Senate Banking Committee recently held a tense exchange between Senator John Kennedy and the Inspector General of the Federal Reserve. At the heart of the questioning, accountability, transparency, and whether wrongdoing inside the Fed truly carries consequences. What unfolded was a mix of sharp inquiries, evasive answers, and pointed criticisms that raised serious questions about oversight at one of the most powerful institutions in the world. Senator Kennedy began by clarifying the Inspector General's role, investigating internal misconduct at the Federal Reserve. Since 2011, the IG has overseen dozens of cases each year, averaging about 60 to 70 ongoing investigations at any given time. But when pressed for the total number of cases over the years, the IG admitted he didn't have an exact figure on hand. Kennedy's response was pointed. If accountability is the core mission of the IG's office, shouldn't these numbers be readily available? The senator's questioning drilled deeper. Out of these investigations, how often is misconduct actually confirmed? The IG declined to estimate, refusing to give even a rough percentage. Kennedy's frustration was clear. He argued that the American people deserve to know how frequently employees are found guilty of wrongdoing, and more importantly, what happens next. When Kennedy asked how often guilty employees are fired, the IG again hesitated. Sometimes, he admitted, but no specific numbers were offered. Kennedy's conclusion was biting. It may actually be easier to divorce your spouse than to get fired at the Federal Reserve. That line struck at the heart of public frustration, an institution trusted with trillions of dollars, yet seemingly shielded from accountability. The exchange then shifted to pay structures. The IG's salary, he explained, is tied to the average compensation of division directors, which includes their bonuses, though he himself receives none. Kennedy's line of questioning highlighted a system where bonuses are awarded even when Federal Reserve officials make major
strike that. It seems that ever since the Great Recession, we've been very concerned, as we should be, about banks that are too big to fail. Big is dangerous. I'm not against big. I'm against dumb. So, but if you have an institution that is really, really big and it does something dumb, it hurts a lot of people. Nobody ever goes to jail, but that's a separate story. But it looks to me like, as a result of these recent failures, that our big banks are getting bigger. And I find that ironic. Again, maybe the wrong word. I don't know if you're going to look at that in your studies.
Well, Senator, that strikes me as being a straight-ahead policy issue. Or the Federal Reserve Board decides what rules of engagement for the supervision of banks at different sizes, tailoring, and all of those are supervisory, policy-based decisions, and the IGs are prohibited from getting involved in overseeing policy.
Senator Warren and I may disagree with this, but we disagree a lot, but we still like each other. But see, if I ask Mr. Barr that question, I think the answer I'm going to get is, look, the problem with the bank failures is the management did dumb things, and they were incompetent. And yes, some of my regulators were not as proactive as they should have been, but it's Trump's fault. Trump ain't my homework. And I don't think that's a candid assessment of the situation.
And a financial system where mistakes rarely cost insiders their jobs, but often leave taxpayers on the hook. The hearing left one critical question hanging. Who is really holding the Federal Reserve accountable? The American people deserve transparency, and until those answers are delivered publicly, doubts about fairness, oversight, and trust in the system will remain. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and hit the subscriber button for more political showdown.